Good morning, Minister Chief General Esco.
Good morning.
Welcome to this very important program.
Yes, thank you.
I'm happy to have you today. And we are going to be talking about one very important aspect of our economy, of our localities, of our community as a whole. And this is the scarcity of technicians. You remember in those days when we used to grow up, it was very easy for us to find technicians, carpenters, all the other aspects of techniques. It was very easy to get experts from those domains and your work being done. But nowadays, we come to realize that it is extremely difficult to get technicians, and even when you get one, to have your work deliver in terms of quality and in terms of deadline is not always easy. According to you, what is the issue today?
What you are raising is a very, very important issue that concerns our society today. It's very, very difficult getting a technician, like a carpenter, a tailor, and all the like. And on daily basis, people face this problem with technicians, even the few that are there. The few that are there, you can give a work and give a deadline that maybe I want to collect my dress. You give a dress to a tailor that I want to collect my dress in a week. And after a week, you cannot get your work done. Maybe you have a particular rendezvous that you have to wear that dress, and when you go there, the tailor will tell you, oh, Oga, in the evening you can come and collect it. Once you come in the evening, he's not even there, or he gives you another rendezvous.
According to you, is it bad faith, or are they not saturated at a certain time?
I think what is really causing all this is the scarcity. Youths these days are not they're not going into these trainings. They don't want to train themselves in all these fields.
They don't want to waste time.
Yes,
in going on that
yes, they don't
undergoing a training.
Yes, they don't want to delay gratification. They just want things that they can just do and get money
immediately.
You know, learning a trade is something that takes time and patience. Like learning something like mechanic or a welding, it can take you about 3 years or even sometimes 4 years.
That is it.
And most of the youths today, they don't want to.
They are not willing to.
They don't want to spend that kind of time. And one of the things that has caused all this is these motorbikes, commercial motorbikes. You know, commercial motorbikes.
Very easy to start.
It's something that you can easily go into it. You can learn how to ride a bike maybe for 2 days, and the next day you are already on the road. You can gain maybe 5,000 francs a day. Tell me how this kind of youth will go and learn a trade that will take him or her 3 years.
But are you telling me that the motorbikes are not important for our community, for our society?
Motorbikes, they have, it's something that has really helped to resolve unemployment in the country. But I think it's a sector that needs to be regulated. It needs to be regulated.
In what sense?
It should not be so easy to become a commercial bike rider. Because when I look at the situation, it's very, very easy to become a commercial. This sector, I think the government needs to complicate the procedure to become a commercial bike rider, so that it can limit some of the youths that are going into it.
Don't you remember the Prime Minister decree that was signed in 2008 talking about the conditions and then the papers and all the other insurance and all the other these things that were put in place in order to start? Because under normal circumstances, the laws are there.
I think there's also administrative tolerance, but I think the laws need to be reinforced to ensure that some of these youths, instead of going into motorbike, they can also learn other trades like carpentry, welding, and others.
That is exactly, because it's very complex today. Almost all our youths are diving into the. Okay. Apart from the motorbike activity you were talking about, what can you advise a young man? I mean, instead of going to study history or go and study mathematics or physics in the university, or I don't know, what practical activity can can you advise a young man, a young man of 18 or 17 just having the advanced level? What can you advise a young man to do?
We are in,
activity?
We are in 2025, and instead of going to learn a field like German, Spanish in the university, because this is a serious issue. You cannot go to a university like the University of Cambridge and find a field like a discipline there like Ewondo. Instead of going to learn such a field, there are so many things that you find.
You go to the Spanish, just to add something, you go there about 3,000, 4,000 in a classroom.
Yes, it's a very, very serious problem. I think there are trades these days that one can learn, like repairing a phone. If you have a phone there, you can.
Very practical.
Yes, very practical. Let's say if we are 30 million of us in this country,
yes,
that means at least 10 million Cameroonians own a phone. And if 10 million Cameroonians own a phone, that means that implies 10 million problems. And if you are youth, you are patient.
That is it, because phones have become basic commodities.
Because these phones, they come with problems. Every day new phones are coming out, and all these phones are coming with problems. If you are patient, you can go and learn how to repair phones. What is it? It can take you about a year just to repair, learn how to repair phones. I don't think you can ever go hungry if you have such a skill. Another sector is this learning glasswork. When you look at all the buildings around today, you see that most of the buildings are being built. Glass is something that is being used today in nearly all the buildings. Windows, doors. When you even go to
shops,
most shops today are designed with glass so that their products should be visible to customers. And if you can learn how to do glass work, I don't think there's a day you can ever go hungry, because you will always be needed. They'll always need your services.
Low risk in terms of revenue, you have higher revenue, and then meanwhile a bike rider, even though the money is there, but the risk.
It's not only the risk, but you have to do,
because when you look at the way they die in Douala each day, every day.
We are dealing with the lives of citizens. I remember some years back, I think about 5 years ago, one student who was studying engineering in the engineering school of Yaoundé lost his life just because of a motorbike rider who was entering into the road without looking.
Because most of them are not even trained, and then...
And this student lost his life. Imagine an engineering student,
really unfortunate,
who may have given much to the country, losing his life in that kind of situation.
Okay, and then you talked about technicians. You talked about those who can learn a technique like to repair phones. You also talked about this glass work. Apart from those two sectors, do you believe or do you think there is another thing that can be added to that?
There are other fields like welding. Look at these rolling doors that are used in most shops these days. Nearly all the shops are being constructed using rolling doors. Imagine if you learn how to do just these doors. You can imagine the amount of doors that are produced yearly. You will never lack something to do.
But can you, at this, Mr. Chief, can we not accuse parents at a given time? Since all the parents want their children to have white collar jobs, and then do you not, to an extent,
I think
on who they blame? Who can we blame at this time?
I think it's about what the society gives value to. If at a certain time we can never recognize technicians like welding, they are not given importance in the society. They are not welders are not given importance. The carpenters are not given importance in the society. Parents are forced to send their kids where they know who they'll be most respected.
Study Spanish.
Yeah, that is the reality. That is the reality in our society today.
Thank you very much.
You are welcome.
Thank you. Follow Chief Don on Esco TV. See you next week for yet another edition.